Hey there everyone. In today's video, we will try to explore the fascinating world of minimal APIs in .NET 7 and try to connect it with our database, which we haven't done in the past videos. So we will do that today. So now we will open the Visual Studio and let's see how it's done. And if I open Visual Studio, so you can see we have written some code in the program.cs file. If you haven't seen this video yet, you can check out the I button. Yeah, that there is a video. Now for connecting to the database, we need to have some packages installed. So I'll open the tools and here in the NuGet package manager, inside NuGet package manager solution. So you can see these two are the pre-installed packages, which is already coming with the application. So now I'll go for the browse and here I will type SQL server. So I will not go for the previews. I'll go for this version and install it. Okay, so it's done. Uh, so now let's close this or go to my program.cs. In the Solution Explorer, right click on this section and add one more class. Class name should be data db context and hit add. So this creates me a .cs file, that is name of the file is data db context. And here I have to define the connection string, or I can define it in the program.cs file as well. But let me first implement the db context class from here. So I'll type db context and it will throw me an error. Now if I right click here and go for quick action refactor, it is giving me suggestion that I have to use this entity framework core, and I'll click that. If I use global over this using, that will this package will be implemented for all over the project. So I'll use global. So I need not to write entity framework every time in the project. So I'll go for global. Okay, so it is done. Now inside this class, I will type ctor and double tab. It will create me the constructor of this class. Now db context options. Inside that, the name of the class, it is done, and it is options. And it should be, and now it should be base. Why it is coming? Options. So it is done. Now below, I have to call one property that is, I will type prop and double tab. It will create me a property. The type of the property would be db set db set, and db set is of type where is my program.cs. This is the property class. So I'll copy the name and put it here. And my variable name would be employee, the same name. So this is throwing me an error because in the program.cs, I haven't made this public. So I'll make it public. Now if I go here, the error should have gone. So error is still there. So now let me go to program.cs and copy the whole thing or cut it and paste it over this namespace. So now it will work, I guess. See, it is working. So my DataDB context is done. So now we need to go to app setting.json to add our data. Here after this allow host, I'll hit a comma. And now after this quotation, I'll type connection strings and the name of the connection string, let's say con str, and the connection string is, and inside this I need to pass my connection string. So I'll go to views and here I'll go for SQL Server Object Explorer. Okay, inside my SQL Server, expand this. This is my local host. Expand this as well. Now inside database, expand it. And here we have so many databases. Okay, so I'll click on the database and go for new query. So now let me create one database. So I'll run the query, that is create database, and name of the database, let's say minimal db, and hit run. My database is being created. If I refresh this, I can see my own database name minimal db. I'll copy this name first. Yeah, you can see here, this is the minimal db. Okay, so this is done. Now I will go here and paste my database name, that is minimal db. Okay, so what is my server name? It is local db. Let me type it. So server equal, it is local db slash mssql local db. So this is my server name. This should be double slash. And now my database name. So I'll type semicolon and database equal this, then semicolon. I have to go for trusted connection equal true. Okay, so it's done. Let me unping this. So I have to go for program.cs and now I have to inject the dependency, the data DB context dependency here. So I'll go for builder dot services dot add DB context, and here the name of the DB context, that is data DB context. Inside this, let me type one parameter, that is options, then options dot use SQL Server, and inside this SQL Server there should be builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and I'll pass my connection string here, the name of the connection string, that is constr, control C comes here, control V. Okay, so this is done. So now I have to go for tools, then NuGet package manager and NuGet package manager console. Here Okay, so it's been opened. Now I'll select, if I type .NET tool install dash dash global .NET EF dash EF and enter. It says .NET EF is already installed. Now I'll go for update. So it said .NET EF was successfully installed from version 6.01 to 7.08. Okay. Now if I run .NET EF, I hope this will work. Okay, it is working fine. Now I'll go for .NET EF migration add initial. Fine. If I go here in the project, in the dependency, and inside the packages, there is no package name design. So you have to install this package. Okay, now install this 708, accept it. It's showing the same error. Okay, let me first go here and go to properties, go above, control A, control C, inside DB context or inside app setting. And my database is minimal DB. Let me build it again. Now in the close this, go to Solution Explorer. It says, okay, design is there, it's installed. Okay, now if I go to Package Manager console and hit this .NET EF, let's say, let's see what I am getting. Okay, so this is fine. Now if I go to EF migration, add initials, so finally it is done. So now the database creation, so the command successfully done. Now I have to run one more command, that is .NET EF database update. If I hit enter, it will create me the table. The, it will create me the employee table that is inside this data DB context. Okay, it's been done. Let me go to SQL Server Object Explorer, and here in this minimal DB, let me go for new query and let me type, select start from employee, and if I hit run, see, it is giving me ID, name, and designation. So let me add some data here. I'll go in this SQL Server Object Explorer, expand this table. Okay, so table name employee is there. If I right click on this and go to view data, so there is no data. Let me add some data here. The name is Preetham and designation is CEO. Then let's say John and designation is CTO. That's it. Two records is fine for me as of now. So if I run this, it's give me some data here. So, so now let me go to program.cs, and here let me first add the DB context instance here. So database or data DB context, and it should be context, and the type is asynchronous. So sync, and here instead of returning the employee, I will return context dot employee, context dot employee dot to list async. Done. So now if I remove this, so this will throw me some error. I'll for the time being I'll hide this. So now remove this return keyword and copy this whole thing, paste it, and this should work. Okay, let's see. Let me first run build the code. So my Swagger UI is open and it is having only one endpoint, that is this employee. Let me go for the tryout. Okay, so the execution is done. If you can see, there are two records, that is Preetham CEO and John CTO. That is now next. Let me change all the other APIs and make it workable. So let me go here and let me uncomment all this and let me change this. So here it should be await, and for the await it is async. Copy this, paste it. It should be context dot employee dot find async and the ID. So it's done. Now for the post method, let me copy this, paste it here, add an async, then context dot employee dot add emp. So remove this and then await context dot in save change, sorry, context dot save change async. Okay, then the return type is result dot okay, and inside that await context dot employee dot to list. So it will return me the new list of employee table. So this is also done for the post. Now let us change the put method. That is the update one. So first of all, I'll copy this, paste it here, add an async. Now for this line, I will go for now for this line, I will go for await context dot employee dot find async and ID. And if employee is null, then I don't need to change anything here. Else, I need to change it to await, or I just have to copy this and paste it. So now next, the updated list will be so now the updated list will be given as an output. So my put is also done. Now the last one. Now the last one is delete. So for this, first copy the context, paste it here, add an async, and here copy this, paste it. Okay. So this is done. Now if employee is null, it is fine. Now remove this line and put context dot employee dot remove the employee. Okay. And now await context dot save change. This is for the database to get updated. And now after return, we should return the list without the employee. So I'll put the list here, and this is done. So I have successfully changed the normal methods to this DB context related things. Now if I build this, so build it successful, run the code. Okay, so Swagger UI is loaded. It is having 5 endpoints. So now let me, this endpoint I already checked. Please, let's try out again. This is for the total list, the get all employees. So yeah, the list is there. There are two IDs. There are two employees. Okay, so the list is there. There are two employees. Now let me go for, let's see if I'm having this data with this particular ID or not. So I'll go for tryout and hit 1. So the ID is 1. It should give me the details of Preetham. Okay, it is giving me the details of Preetham. Preetham designation is CEO. Now let me try to add one more data or one more employee here using this post method. So I'll go for tryout, and here let me add, let's not change anything here. Let's see what it's giving. So execute this. So it says ID 3 and the name is string and designation is string. Okay, so name and designation is string. So let me change the name and designation of this employee. So I'll go for the put method here, and first I will give his ID, that is 3, and now I will change his name. Let's say Seema, and designation, let's say intern, and execute. It will give me the updated list, and the ID is same, but the name and designation is updated to Seema and intern. Now let me delete this particular employee or this intern. So I'll hit 3, and so I'll hit 3 and execute. It will give me the updated list without this employee. So now this is done. And if you want to see the null check, if I hit 4, so there is no employee with this ID. I'll execute this. It'll throw me, oops, employee is not present, and 4 not 4. Then for this put method, if I hit 4, and irrespective of this request body, I hit execute, it will throw me 4 not 4. Oops, employee is not present. So this null checks is done. So, okay. So that is it, guys, for this tutorial. And if you find this tutorial valuable, you can add a like to this video. And yeah, that's it. So let's meet on the other videos. Chalo, bye.